Hello everyone. Right, this video is sort of a extended bit to the other video I recently done on the Masons, proving they wrote the Bible. This is just an added little bit to it. The true meaning of the Bible is creation, 666, 6 building blocks of life. So the Masons, or I should say a number of the Masons, wrote the Bible. No one person's written the Bible. The Masons' true number is 8. The Romans created this deception, deceiving people with their religion. When they couldn't conquer the four corners of the world by force, they put the religion gowns on and preached peace to the world, deceiving everyone using religion. RE is Roman Empire Legion. So they've just messed around with the words, letters, and they've got religion from legion. The new religion created a fear factor to deceive people into doing as they are told, all in the name of religion. God will forgive you no matter what, as long as you repent. Oh yeah, and don't forget to put your money on the collection box on your way out to pay for your sins. And then you're good to go. We all know that you shouldn't murder, you shouldn't kill, you shouldn't rape, you shouldn't steal, etc, etc. But realistically, what is happening? That is exactly what's going on. And who's causing it all? These idiots in charge. There's nothing but tax after tax after tax, war after war after war, one BS headline after another. It's the Muslims, it's ISIS, it's this. It's never ending. The exact opposite is what's going on. They've reversed everything to deceive everyone. Billions and billions of people are completely deceived due to that word, religion. Would a true God want all this bloodshed? Would he? In his name, the creator of everything, and he wants to destroy everything he created? Really? If anyone thinks yes, then please turn off. That's all I can say politely. Obviously the answer is 100% no, he wouldn't, or they wouldn't want us to destroy everything he or they created. This deception has been going on for thousands and thousands of years, and over that time these arseholes have perfected this deception. It's all as blame somebody else. Look over here. Don't look over here what we're doing. It's utter BS, and I'm sick of it. They've just got better at this over time, and everybody still follows the Pope, old El Pope, the people. Really? Right. On my last video, you should know it's all about the numbers, and this one's no different. So we've got the Bible. Let's shrink this. Typical. Oh, here we go. There it is. Again. So we've got the Bible. We had all the. We've got obviously 20 for T, 8, etc. We add all these up, we get 63. Now, to play around with numbers, we also I've got Albert Pike's Morals and Dogma. I'm going to go through just a few pages of that, pick out certain sentences and you sort of get the gist of what these people are about. So anyway, back to this. We've got 63, which is obviously 3 sixes, 666, which is creation. It's not the devil. Reverse everything. So we've got the single numbers. We've got 36, which again is 3 sixes, 666. If you think about it, how many millions and billions and trillions have they made from the movies with the devil, the boogeyman, etc., etc. So there it is. We just added them numbers up. We've got 63. We've reversed it because they play around with numbers. The divide, the half, what is a divide, but they add them up, just play around with the numbers, and we get 666, creation. So if we divide 2 into 3 and also 4 into 6, we get 666. We have 46,000 chromosomes in our body. Obviously we're just getting rid of the zeros like the Masons do. They don't use the zero, they use numbers 1 to 9. So we've got 46,000 chromosomes in our body when we're born, which comes from 23 from each parent. So you divide 2 into 3 or 4 into 6, you get 666, which is creation. The Bible says it, 666, creation. The chromosomes that we've got says it's 666, which is creation, the opposite to what they're telling us. Then we get on to the Bible, the cube. Now you should really be able to see, if you fold these ends in and that twice, it forms a cube. So it's all been in there in plain sight. The cube, the numbers, the Masons just carried on what the Romans couldn't do. So the cross is an open cube. Another signature that the Masons is number 8, because you've got 8 corners on a cube. And again, they'll mess around with numbers, so they've got the 8. Who says it's spelt 8? And then 8. And if you use that word 8, which is to eat, which is pie, you eat a pie. Food for the mind, food for thought. Pi is 314. You add those all up, you get an 8. So the Bible is just written to deceive people, and of course it's been written in different languages to deceive other nations. So this is the same as the 33 when it's open. You see everything when the book's open. You can see the 33, but when you close the book, it's an 8, and you can't see anything inside. But you know there's a number 8, because the Masons used 33. So it's the same with the Bible. When it's closed, we've got a cube in the shape of a book. When it's open, we've got a cross. So there I've done a cube out of a bit of paper. So you start to open it. And then we get a cross. Right, there's the cube, and if we unfold it,
we get a cross.
So you can see there that the cube once open is a cross. So it's been on the Bible in plain sight all this time, which in the Morals and Dogma book they mention the cube and the numbers, the 8s, etc., which I'll go into shortly. But this is there's their 8, their true number. But that's the front and back of the book. I know it's only a page, but then when you open that book, it's a 33. So if you can see that's the book closed, 8 on both sides, and then when it's open, it's a 33.
There's one side. There's the other. This is the number you don't see. And there's the numbers you do see.
So you should be able to see their number is 8 now. 33 becomes the 8. The cross becomes the cube. It's all there, right in front of everybody's eyes. And then I've done this in my other video, but it's just to prove that their number's 8 Masons. Same, we had these all up. 62, 6 plus 2 is 8, and again they love the 8 8 8s. Single numbers comes to 17. 17, 1 plus 7 is 8, and then it's the same with the Masons, the Masons. If we add all them numbers up, we get 114. If we make them a single number, we get 33. And then just like what they do, 2 3s or a 6, which again is the 33, which, as we've seen, close the book, becomes an 8. I mean, we're used to saying, well, what's half of an 8? And everybody normally goes, oh, it's 4. But that's dividing it mathematically. These divide it down the middle to get your 33. And then we've got the Romans, which to me is where it's all come from. The Masons just carried on with all this deception with the numbers. So we've got the word the, we've got 33. Single numbers, we've got 15, which is a 6, which again we've just seen is an 8. And then we've got the word Romans, we've got an 8. Add them all up, we've got 80. Disregard the 0. That's again what the numbers are now, between 1 to 26 of the alphabet. And then we just added these together to get single numbers. 2 and 6 is 8. And then we've got the Romans, which comes to, again with this numbers, 113. Single numbers, I've got 41. 1 plus 1 is 2, which is 23. So it's 2 divided by 3, we get 666. And 1 plus 4 is 5, but 2 plus 3 is 5. So you get your 2 divided by 3 again, because 5 is to divide. So that, again, it just means creation. So with the numbers, the Bible, as we saw, we've got 63 or 36, 666. Same with the Romans, the Romans, 113 or 41. As I've just shown, we get 666 with the 2 divided by 3. And then you can either go 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 times 4 is 8. You know, like I say, they mess around with the numbers. And that was on the word Mason. Romans, we've just seen, disregard the 0. 2 plus 6 is 8. And the word the, we've got 8. 33, 6, which is 2 3s, which is an 8. And then we're going to clip bits out of this book, Morals and Dogma. It's only just over 100 pages, and in fact I'll just do a recording of that in a bit. But I'm just going to say, the very back page, the last thing on the page is a figure 8, the number 8. It's on the very last page, and because it's a Freemasonry book, things I've picked up, people have said, you know, because it's Freemason they reverse everything, so you start from the back of the book instead of the front. So I thought, oh, that's a good idea. And the very first thing at the bottom of the page is a figure 8, and just a couple of things off this back page while I'm on here. I mean, I've highlighted things and written on it simply so I can understand it a bit better. It says here, so Masonry jealously conceals its secrets and intentionally leads conceited interpreters astray. Now, that to me more or less says that they purposefully lead people astray, which, let's take the Pope for example. He's openly come out and said there is no God, Lucifer is God, which is obviously the exact opposite to the Bible, is it not? 666 is the devil. It's not, as I've proved beyond doubt really to me. Whether anybody else sees it differently, that's up to you, but it's there in the numbers. 666 is creation. So they're purposely leading people astray just to control them, to get them to do exactly what they want, which is rip everybody off, right, left and centre, force tyranny on every country, force the people of the country to be poor, whilst they're every day they're getting millions and millions of pounds in their bank, because everything all goes back to them, goes back to the church, goes back to the industrialists, goes back to the banking industry. Who owns the insurance companies? The banks. Who owns the banks? The Rothschilds. They have got that much money, it is utterly ridiculous, while everybody else on the planet is struggling because of sheer greed. Anyway, right, that was the back of the page, but when I've done this, I'll just do a quick video on that back page. But it says here we have visible 3 faces and 9 external lines. I mean, this is obviously about the cube. This is on page 5 if anybody's got this book. We've got 9 external lines drawn between 7 points. The complete cube has 3 more faces, making 6. So let's read between the lines. We've got 6 faces in total. 3 are visible. That must mean 3 are hidden. Like I've said, they only tell you half. One side of the story. Their side, which is full of BS. So, making 6 faces. 3 more lines, making 12. And 1 more point, making 8. So, we've got 8 and 6 and 7. Yes, to mention 12, but that's 2 numbers. We'll get into that. So 6, 7 and 8 are their numbers. 8 is the Mason's true number. Here we go. As the number 12 includes their sacred numbers 3, 5 and 7, and 3 times 3, which is a square, or 9, and it's produced by adding the sacred number 3 to 9. So we've got 3 times 3 is 9, plus another 3 is 12. While its own 2 figures, 1 and 2, the unit or nomad and duad, added together make the same sacred number 3. If you can follow that, we're starting with a 3, we're timing it by its own number, so 3 times 3 is 9, plus another 3 gives us 12. Singularly it's 1 plus 2, and we start back to the beginning. It's 360 degrees. Okay, so therefore they call it the perfect number, and the cube became the symbol of perfection, produced by force acting as rule. Really? I mean, yeah, you could argue they're going to force this. They call it an ashlar, which is a stone. So they're going to force this stone into perfect 90-degree angles and into a cube, acting as rule. Well, the ruler, or is it they're acting as rule and forcing it on the people, all by deception? So we're on to page 6. three invisible faces are liberty, equality and fraternity. The threefold souls of the state, its vitality, spirit and intellect. So this is what they're saying are the three invisible faces. Liberty. Well, they've certainly took that away, right, left and centre from everyone. And you could argue the same with equality. The way it's going, nobody will be able to afford a car because it's going to be that expensive to run. And where's it all going? You'll have to plug your car into the mains and I'll get electric. So it's more money back to the industrialists. I mean, there is free energy out there that's you could run your car off of water, but that got suppressed, and the inventor got murdered. Stan Myers, if anybody's interested. Stan Myers, water run car, I think, something like that. But any type of water, seawater, rainwater, tap water, he could run his car on it, and they murdered him. So fraternity is a body of people that are united. Well, everything is purposely designed to divide and conquer. Everything's divided. So they've done a good job of hiding all those three faces. It's in plain sight, but they've purposely ruined everything. Introduced taxes. Page 8. This is a good one. The laws of God are not obligatory on us. Why is that? Do they think they're above people then, do they? The laws not apply to them? They just keep rubber stamping their own laws to fill their own pockets with money. Everything is a corporation. Everything. The governments, the police, the councils, etc., the banks, they're all corporations, and have made these so-called acts of parliament law, but they're not. They don't apply to common law whatsoever, and that's how everybody's being deceived, by making people think these laws that keep rubber stamping to tax everybody apply. Well, they do if you consent, but if you don't consent, it don't apply. Right, back to page 5 again. This is where they mention the rough ashlar, which, like I've said, is a stone with, well, it's a stone with smooth edges. But this is what the class is as a rough ashlar, whereas they're the perfect polished ashlar. So the rough ashlar, which is a smooth edged stone, is the people as a mass, rude and unorganised. That's how they see us. Think we're stupid. Really? The perfect ashlar, or cubical stone, symbol of perfection, is the state. The rulers derive its power from the consent of the governed. Now read between the lines. The rulers, that's these that think they're above everybody, making laws up, are the governed. Sorry, we're the governed. And we're giving consent because we don't know. It's all in this book, Morals and Dogma. It is. You've got to read between the lines because nothing's as straightforward. And there's on about the again on about the cube, the square. See, what I'm trying to do with this is prove they mess around with numbers, multiply and just mess around with them to suit themselves. But in one sense, how the numbers work out, it is very clever, very cleverly worked out, and nobody can knock what they've done. But it's the deception and deceiving everybody that is the problem, beyond doubt. Anyway, the square of a number is the product of that number multiplied by itself. It's like what we just had a look at earlier. So this 4 is the square of 2 and 9 of 3. So I've got a little chart here. This is straight out of everything's out the book, except they've not put it in a chart in the book. I've just done it to make it easier. So we've got 1 to 10. This is just the 1 to 10 numbers. The square of that number, obviously 1 is 1. So you basically times in that by itself. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 times 3 is 9. 4 times 4 is 16, and so on, all the way up to 10 times 10 is 100. And then this is the difference between this, and then it just goes up in 2's. So the difference between the square root of 1 and the square root of 4 is 3, and then the difference between the square root of 4 and the square root of 9 is 5, and so on and so on. And as you can see, they're just on the odd numbers, and they just go up in 2's at a time. I mean, the meaning of this, I'm not 100% sure, but you can see they mess around with the numbers to get a particular number, and only they'll tell you what the numbers mean. But they're on about the sacred number. The difference between each square and that which precedes it gives us the sacred numbers 3, 5, 7 and 9. We're on page 60. 8 is the first cube, that of 2. 9 is the square of 3, and represented by a the triple triangle, which is obviously 3 points on each triangle to give us 9. Again, there's using the Roman numerals. It was page 4, at the very beginning of the book. This is quite another oh hello moment. It's not being intended for the world at large. Well, what's not? All these secrets. He has felt at liberty to make, from all accessible sources, a compendium of the morals and dogma of the right to remould sentences, change and add the words and phrases, combine them with his own, and make use of them if they were his own. So there you go. They chop and change sentences to suit themselves. This book, Moral and Dogma, is just over 100 pages, but it contains most of what's gone on by means of deception, and exactly what we mean to these people. Basically what I've said earlier, we're uneducated, uncut or rough stone, and they're the perfect polished. Ugh. These people who think they are a cut above everyone else simply because we are uneducated, a rough ashlar, and they're the polished, perfect, finished ashlar, or so they think. They have done nothing but deceive everyone, bar from the few that are in the big boys club. This is like your Skull and Bones, your Jesuits, your Freemasons, all that. They all know what's going on. And they seem to find it amusing, causing everything ugly that is around us today. And by that I mean all the wars, which are purposely caused just to keep lining their pockets with money, while everybody loses their lives because they can't see what's going on. They've been deceived by religion. The banks, they're extremely corrupt, making money out of thin air. Fractional reserve lending. They don't even own any money. It's what you and I deposit allows them to loan out what's you and I deposit. We're acting as a guarantor for these. It's beyond a joke. Making money out of thin air everywhere you look. So the taxes which do not apply to common law have been forced onto us by means of deception and lies, and that is funny to them. Every act of Parliament does not apply to common law. Please don't take my word for it, do your own research, because it's the only way the penny will drop. You look at it for yourself, and when it does, you know it's right, and you can stand your ground knowing you're right. Whereas these people stand the ground thinking they're right, but they're wrong. So please look into it yourself. Anything I tell you, I mean, these masonry things, a lot of it's down to my interpretation. Me and a good friend have a talk about these all the time, trying to work out what the meaning is. But we know they're evil, and everything they do, it all boils down to creation. Everything. You've just got to peel back enough pages or look at it from a different angle, but everything is about creation. So this hasn't just happened overnight. It's been going on, believe it or not, for thousands and thousands of years. We've never ever come out of slavery, never. They've just created this system where you're made to believe you're free, but you're not. You're paying through the nose just to live on this planet. You think you're free, but you're not, and that's the problem. You think. Prove it to yourself you're free. You can't. Name one thing in life that's free. Nothing is free. You can't even get a carrier bag for free. It's 5p. And money is worthless. It's backed up by nothing. It's an IOU. It's a promissory note. It says I owe you £5, £10. Well, pounds of what? Pounds of fresh air, pounds of feathers, pounds of mud, what? So we're being had over big time. It's nothing but monopoly money. And where does all the money go? Back to its owners. Who creates it? The industrialists. You buy their industrialist merchandise. The TVs that keep breaking down, the clocks, the cameras, all the fancy gadgets, the mobile phones, the computers. You're giving them your money back to them all the time. So the industrialists, the masons, the church, the government, the councils, the policies are all corporations acting as one, deceiving everybody into paying more and more and more to fund their business, their corporation, their brethren, the brotherhood. It's full of deception. We live in a massive lie and deception that has been going on for thousands of years, and over that time they've perfected this method. Well, you could say perfected it, because a lot of people can see through it, but this deception's been there for thousands of years, and it's about time we the people took everything back and put these criminals behind bars, and then they'll be hung by the necks live on TV so everybody can see what happens to tyranny and treason that's caused on their own people. It's absolutely disgraceful what they're doing, this government, this council, and they're all in on it together. Why? For money, so that they've not got a queue. And it's all down to these dishonest bunch of people, the Masons, who wrote the Bible. The true number's 8. They only tell you one half of the story. Oh, we're good people, we're charitable, really. So I hope you can see all these numbers have got a meaning. They don't know 100% what the meanings are, but I've shown that 666 is creation and not the devil. The 7s represent the female, and the 8 is the male. The cross is a cube. And if you look at people like the banks, say like NatWest, I should have got a symbol actually, I've only just thought of that. NatWest, Santander, they've all got cubes in one way, shape or form. 3-dimensional cube and flat cube, 2D cube, half a cube. Again, that's you're only seeing half. So the Bible has been written purposely to deceive billions and billions of people, not just in this country, in the word of Christianity, but in other countries, to deceive them. It's just the same book written in a different language, meaning exactly the same thing. Creation. Right, and here's the back pages of Morals and Dogma. Oops. By Albert Pike. And the very last page, nothing on it, only more writing. We've got there at the bottom, look, an 8. And I'll just underline and highlight certain words, and you have to read between the lines of what they're actually saying. So, I mean, that's what my book's like. Oh, you can't see it, sorry. Oops. So, back page, the figure 8.
You're a Mason, he's a Catholic. You've been fucking up the public. All New Yorkers kept the secret. Now we know you're all gonna go and beat it. You're a Rothschild, you're the prez. You fucked over the entire planet. Retribution, now you'll pay for. With your heads on spikes on White House lawn, god damn it. At Camp FEMA, we'll put prisoners, all you bad cops and military traitors. And when that's done, and you're reformed, we'll all light up joints and blow it in your faces.